Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. I am Cia Bryant, and I'm so happy to be here with you. So, I'm going to give people just a few moments to jump in. However, not too many moments because I know when there is a replay, people get really kind of upset because they're like, okay, when did the content start? So we're going to start the content within like a minute and a half of this live beginning. But I want to say if you want to comment, and I want this to be interactive, make sure you're a subscriber so that you can chat because it's on subscriber only mode. But you only have to be a subscriber for a minute. So come on in and enjoy the conversation. So this is really one of the first, let me see. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was trying to make sure my setup was all right, and make sure that uh, everything is perfect. And you know what? It's not. And it's not going to be, but that's the way it goes, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get this party started, okay? Welcome everyone to the very first live session of a series or a direction that I am calling Countdown to Clocking Out. Okay. I want you to listen to that and I want you to kind of absorb that. Countdown to Clocking Out. Okay. I am so excited to have you here as we kick off this journey together. I am with you. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the idea of retirement, and maybe you're thinking, is retirement even the right word anymore? Then you are absolutely in the right place. Now, I will tell you, if you're like me, I started thinking about retirement about 25 years ago. And when I first started my career, I'm like, what is retirement? Am I ever going to be able to retire? And what will my life look like? Now, it's interesting because when I started working in the 90s, when I looked forward to retirement, which always seemed like it would never come, to today and what retirement is, it's a very different concept. So, I am Cia Bryant, and I created this space for Gen X women like you, women who have worked hard, balanced careers and families, and now you're finding yourself asking yourself, what's next? Okay. So today we're going to explore how retirement is evolving and why it's no longer about slowing down. It's about redesigning your life to fit your dreams, values, and your goals. Okay. Now, before we dive in, let's make this interactive. Drop a quick hello in the chat. Let me know where you're joining from. And while you're at it, share one thing you're most excited or maybe even nervous about when it comes to retirement. So, again, if you want to join the chat, you have to be subscribed. So go ahead and click the subscribe button only for a minute, and then you can tell me who you are, where you're joining from, and what are you most excited or nervous about when it comes to retirement. Okay. And the replay gang, do the same thing as well. So now here's the thing. This isn't your parents' retirement, right? We're not talking about getting on the rock in the rocking chair like they have in front of Cracker Barrel on the porch. Today we're going to talk about new rules, fresh ideas, endless possibilities. And by the end of the session, and I'm not going to hold you long, okay? Hopefully you'll have a new perspective of what retirement can look like, and I'll even share a few practical tips to help you start rethinking your next chapter. So grab your notebook, grab the beverage of your choice. I mean, okay. And get ready. So let's redefine what it means to clock out. Okay. Are you ready? Let's jump in. Okay. So let's talk about retirement and what retirement used to mean. Okay. So back in the day, and I used to be a history teacher, so I'm not going to get too nerdy with it, but back in the day, retirement said 65. That was the age, and that was the time, and that was the space when you would retire. And then when you said you're retired, you went home and you sat down and you just, I don't know, watched the stories on. I don't know what you did when you retired. If you were like my grandfather, you drove up and down the street at very slow speeds and then came home and watched your television program. So that was retirement. That's what we saw as Gen Xers when it came to, or when it comes to, um, what retirement used to mean. Okay. Now let's talk about, for us, we're talking about as Gen Xers who are getting into that retirement age. I am 50. Proud to say that. And so for we're talking about the young boomers as well as the Gen Xers, it's about that time. So what does retirement mean now? For many of us, it means um, phased retirement. So with your full-time career, it also means side hustles, consulting, things like that. So retirement is very different. It's very different. Also, keep in mind, we don't have that nest egg, many of us, that companies would have after you worked for that company for 30, 35 years. They'd give you this retirement package and you'd go and you would just do what, and that was it, right? Or unfortunately, you had people who just continued to work in things that they didn't want to do, but they had to make ends meet. We don't want that. That is not what we are going for, right? So we need to rethink retirement. So here are the top 3 reasons why Gen X women need to rethink retirement. So first and foremost, when most people talk about retirement, when they think about retirement, the number one thing they think about, finances, right? So cost of living, we're talking about rising cost, we're talking about inflation, all of that. So all of those things are things that you have to keep in mind when it's time to think about retirement. A second thing is longevity and staying active. Now, back in the day when people retired, now let's be honest, they could only really expect to have about maybe 10 more years, and then they were ready to go to the upper room. So they were ready. They had a shorter lifespan, right? So for us, and those of us who are looking to retire in our 50s, early 60s, even late 60s, people are living longer. So you're going to have to kind of really rethink what retirement means and how you're going to prepare for it. And the last thing I think is what's new for our generation, for the Gen Xers and people who are coming up behind us, emotional fulfillment and finding purpose, right? I know some people did that in the past, but when it came to retirement, it was, I'm going to work the job I may or may not like for an undetermined amount of time. And then I'm going to stop working. And then that's it. Okay. In terms of finding fulfillment and finding purpose, I find that many of us who are in the Gen X era, okay, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for something, even if we didn't, especially if we didn't find that with our main jobs, right? Okay, so here's a question. Here's a question. What does your dream retirement look like? And I want you to really think about that. Really think about that. And also, what is your biggest worry about retirement? Okay. So it's really important for us to kind of be prepared for what the next chapter brings. We don't want to be caught off guard. We don't want to really just kind of be at the mercy of what the economy does. We don't want to be at the mercy of what um, your job does. Your job might voluntarily retire you at a certain point. Is that what you want? If you think that's a possibility, can you start setting things up now? So I want to just kind of, sum up by saying how I got to this space and this place and why I wanted to create this community. I am about 5 years out from being able to retire from my main job. Okay. And 5 years, it seems like a long time, but it can be a very short time if I'm not positioning myself in a way to make retirement um, as enjoyable as this time of my life, even more enjoyable. That's what I'm looking for, right? So, this is where you all get to share this with me, this experience, because I'm going to talk about lots of different things, how to prepare yourself, for the lack of social interaction when you retire, how to prepare yourself financially, of course, what's the best way to keep revenue streams going. We're going to talk about all of that on this channel. So I just wanted to hop on and say, hey, girl, hey, from one Gen Xer to another. And I wanted to see that I wanted to kind of offer a different thought about what retirement means. Okay, so that's it. If you are in the chat, in the replay, make sure you say hi, tell us where you're joining us from, and let me know what your biggest fears are about retirement and what's your biggest what are you looking forward to the most. So that's it, folks. I will be back actually later on in the week, and we're going to talk about the top 5 signs you're ready to transition out of your career. Okay, the top 5 signs that you're ready to transition out of your career. So join me for that stream. And until next time, guys, bye.